This is the bottom of a 12 horsepower Cub Cadet 127 gas tank that has a leak in it, and it's here in this area someplace. There's also an ancient leak here that somebody welded up with steel wire, I think, ground off, and there's a little ding in here that I think I'll do something with. But the issue is, where is the seepage coming from? Before I clean it out with soap and water, which I was going to do, I thought I would blow into the tank, you know, put the filler cap, the filler hole over my mouth and pressurize it and see if I could feel a leak. And I tried that and I couldn't. Notice that I put an 1/8 inch pipe plug in the hole with 3 wraps of Teflon tape so that won't leak. But I found an interesting thing. If I blow into the tank to pressurize it with the filler around my mouth, I can cause some of the vapor to come out where the seepage is, and then when it comes out it actually condenses and I get a damp area, which shows me where the leak is. So I'm going to try to show that to you now. Hopefully right now there shouldn't be a leak, and I know the lighting isn't the greatest, but let's see what happens if I blow into it. The tank is empty. However, you can still smell a little bit of almost gasoline in here. I was thinking of washing it out and so on, but I just thought I'm going to need to pressurize it. So let me just see if I blow on it with my mouth, even though I know I can only generate 1 or 2 psi and feel any leaks. And I tried that and I couldn't. But what I did discover is that I can create a dampness where there's a leak. So I'm going to blow in this, and then we'll look at the bottom again and see if you can see this dampness occur. And I sure hope you can see this, but there's actually a little trail running down here of dampness that came out. Right around here, it's seeping, and it's seeping right from the joint between that little collar, that little threaded collar, and the square metal plate that's part of the original assembly. Okay, now I have patched my suspected area with a JB product that is labeled for gas tanks, and it's a stick, an epoxy stick, and you just tear some off of the stick and squish it and squish it and squish it back together until it's well mixed, and then apply it. I did rough up the surface to some degree to get it to stick better, I hope, and now we'll see what happens. There are a couple of narrow frame Cub Cadet 12 horse gas tanks upside down, and I've been trying to do some repairs on these tanks, and this one I just got done repairing, and the problem with it was, if I look at this other tank here, is that this little like riveted or brazed and riveted on area right here was just seeping a little bit. And, you know, it was not a leak, it just was a seep. And so what I found I could do was to put maybe, a 1/4 of a cup of gasoline in the tank, and then just hold the filler over my mouth and blow as hard as I could, you know, and kind of hold pressure in there. And the gas would just sort of seep in the area where the leak was. And so then I could wipe it off again and then not blow so hard until the seep was so small that I could really pinpoint where the leak was. And so I just decided I wasn't going to try to do brazing or soldering or what have you. And this particular tank somebody had done just a tiny little brazing job all around this this little square area here, and it looked like a really good job. But the seep was it doesn't matter to you guys, but was just right over here. And then it also looked like it was seeping right around the little collar that's threaded, that's fastened into this little square thing here. And so I got some epoxy at the auto supply store that was labeled for gas tanks, and glopped it up here. There had also been looks like a welding with a steel rod done here that had a kind of suspicious kind of a gash in it, so I gave that a coat of this epoxy too. And it says it cures sets in 5 minutes and cures in an hour, but I gave it 24 hours. And on this particular patch here, I still had just the tiniest little seep over here, and so I gave it another this is the kind where you mix the two parts together like this and then push it on like that. So I gave it another little patch of that material there, and now I got no seepage at all. This tank will be a test tank for next week.